Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And, of course, you can hear the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network on Spreaker.com. We're on live on Spreaker.com. We're also on Stitcher.com. Remember that premium we have for you, that offer we have for you to go to Stitcher Premium for 1 month free by going to Stitcher.com/premium and typing in the code BOXING for that one. We're also on TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio.com, and of course we've just joined the Podcast Addict and Spotify networks, and we returned to Google Podcasts. So in many ways now you can hear Box on Beltway Podcast Network. When this week we are loaded with a lot of information for you, including some information that'll be coming up for this coming weekend as we record this. It's November the 1st. Got some big events coming up this weekend. We also had some big events last weekend. We'll recap in just a moment. And we'll pay tribute to DC's newest champions. And we'll talk about that and how this has kind of been an emotional time for me this last couple of days. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Brought to you as always by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between. Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of real-time pain relief. You get a free $10 tube of real-time pain relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and great training methods if you go to Deborah, Debra Spears.com. As you said, a lot going on this past week in the Beltway. We had a number of results we're going to talk to you about, including our first one, which is the win by DC Super Featherweight, the Dark Menace, Tierra Brown. She successfully defended her NABO Super Featherweight Championship, 8-round majority decision over Vanessa Bradford of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. That took place on Thursday, October 24th at the Generoso Pope Athletic Complex. That's on the campus of St. Francis College in Brooklyn, New York. Now, Brown won this bout by scores of 76-76. That was a draw. But she won two of the judges' scorecards, 77-75, 79-73. She mentioned on Facebook, Tierra Brown mentioned on Facebook that it was a really tough bout, probably the toughest bout she's been in to date. But she ended up winning it. She remains undefeated, 9-0, 6 KOs. Bradford falls to 5-2-2. So a big win for Tierra Brown. That was on the Lou DiBella card. Of course, Brown is a DiBella Entertainment competitor. And so it was great to see the win there for Tierra Brown. Won by 8-round majority decision, successfully defending her NABO Super Featherweight Championship. Also on Thursday, October 24th, they had the annual Alarmcom Boxing Car. Now, this is a card that's for the employees of Alarm.com. And it's not open to the public, not open to the press. So, fortunately, the promoter there is J.D. Brown, who's a good friend of Boxing on the Beltway, and he sends us the results of these bouts when they take place. And in this bout, a couple of Beltway boxers won. Actually, a number of Beltway boxers won this card. Main event, Upper Marlboro Maryland heavyweight, Mike Silverback Balogun. He scored a first-round knockout over Mike Concrete Bissett of St. Petersburg, Florida. Time of the knockout was 1 minute, 50 seconds. Balogun remains undefeated, 15-0, 11 KOs. Bissett falls to 15, 13-1, 9 KOs. So Balogun, who I believe is managed by J.D. Brown, is doing very, very well. Also, the co-features saw the sexy Albanian Yank Plana of Hagerstown, Maryland. He registered the first-round knockout over Alex Lara of Manhattan, New York. That was in the super middleweight bout there. Bout was stopped at 2:07 in the first round. I had a chance to see some video of this one, and it was a really brutal knockout for Yank Plana. He's now 7-1, 4 KOs. Lara drops to 2-2, 1 KO. I believe Lara made his pro debut in the area, even though he's from New York. I believe he made his pro debut out in Virginia a couple years ago. Also in the card, DC middleweight Devon Boone won a 4-round unanimous decision over Alan Johnson of Ashburn, Virginia. There were no official scores given for this bout, but J.D. Brown did tell me that the decision was controversial. So we'll see. Both men are now 1-1. Alan Johnson does have one knockout on his record. Another bout, this is a good one too. Natalie Barracuda Gonzalez, a flyweight from New Rochelle, New York. She won a 6-round unanimous decision over Martina Horgas of Budapest, Hungary. Again, no official word on the scores. Gonzalez is 6-0, 1 KO. Horgas is 5-5 with 4 KOs. So that was the card at the Alarmcom Boxing Car. That took place at the Capitol Hilton. Normally it's at the Mayflower, but this year it was at the Capitol Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. Also, Haymarket, Virginia welterweight Juan De La Cruz Rodriguez. He lost a 4-round unanimous decision to James Martin of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That was on Friday, October 25th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Rodriguez did not manage to knock down Martin in the first round, but Martin was able to right the ship. He won by decision. The scores were 39-37 and 38-37 twice. Juan Rodriguez just had a tough career. I mean, he's lost some bouts that many people thought he won. He has really come very, very short in situations. Sometimes he's just been knocked out in bouts, but he's had a tough time as of late. He falls to 8-16-1, 6 KOs. Martin is now 5-1. Also, this past week, we didn't know about this until it came right up upon us. Up in Marlboro, Maryland, middleweight contender Alante Sly is a Fox. Alante Sly is a Fox. Let me try that again. He won an 8-round unanimous decision over Bruno Leonardo Romay of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now, this took place on Saturday, October 26th, during the World Boxing Association's Night of Champions event at the Ruben Zayas Montañez Coliseum in Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico. Fox is ranked second in the world by the WBO at middleweight, and he won his bout by scores of 80-71 and 79-72 twice. So, big win for Alante Fox. Fox is now 26-1-1, 12 KOs. Romay falls to 21-8, 18 KOs. So, very nice win for Alante Fox in Puerto Rico. Again, we didn't know anything about it until late, but we went ahead and won that bout. So, that's the recap for this week. Again, good performances overall by a number of Beltway boxers. And once again, we'll focus on the big card that will take place on Saturday, November 2nd. That's tomorrow as we record this. At the MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. That's the TGB Promotions card. Again, number of big bouts, number of Beltway boxers are on this card, and we'll give you pretty much the whole card now. Just about done here. We actually got an update on the card as well. Undefeated Capitol Heights, Maryland bantamweight Antonio Nutter Russell. He now has an opponent for that 10-round bout of his. Russell, who's 15-0, 11 KOs. He'll take on veteran Samuel Panterita Gutierrez of Saltillo, Mexico. He's 16-25 6 with 6 KOs. Now, Gutierrez is winless in his last 6 contests, including an 8-round unanimous decision loss to Sean Simpson. That was on August 31st in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, this is Gutierrez's second trip to the Beltway. He lost an 8-round unanimous decision to Dylan Price on July 27th at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. That was, of course, the Gervonta Davis, Jesus Cuellar bout. By the way, also the bout that Antoine the last Russell, he will have a bout against Juan Huertas. Now, the big thing about this bout, we talked about the bout last week, but we didn't tell you that this bout is also scheduled for 10 rounds. And it's the first time that Antoine Russell has competed in a scheduled 10-round bout. So this is pretty big for Antoine Russell. He's facing a decent opponent as well. Patrick Harris, undefeated super lightweight from Hyattsville, Maryland. His opponent has changed in this 8-round encounter. Harris was 17-0, 8 KOs. He'll now face Joaquin Carneiro of Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's 25-11 with 23 KOs. Carneiro looks to bounce back from his 5th-round TKO loss to Ivan Golub on August 1st in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Also hearing that DC welterweight Shingas Khan Tazabai has a bout on this card, and we just got his opponent just a few moments ago, actually. Shingas Khan Tazabai, who's 8-0, 2 KOs. His opponent is Nicolas Atillo Velasquez El Zurdo from La Plata, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Velasquez is 11-6 with 3 KOs. This will be Tazabai's first bout since October 2018, when he defeated that very same Juan De La Cruz Rodriguez by 6-round unanimous decision over at Rosecroft Raceway on October 27th of last year. Velasquez is coming off an 8-round unanimous decision loss to Jose Ruiz. That was on May 24th in Miami, Florida. So we'll see if any kind of rush will be for Shingas Gonzalez, but I hasn't fought since October of last year. So we'll see. Also, we know that Kobe the Soldier Breedy's bout is off the card. That was too bad, too. That was going to be a big bout for him. But man, that bout is off. And we still don't know about the opponent for Keyshawn Williams. Next big thing, Keyshawn Williams. We haven't heard an opponent for him yet, so we'll see if he's still on this card as well. Now, the other bouts on the card. Main event will be, actually one of the main events. Actually, it's a double main event, actually. One of the main event bouts is the matchup, as we said, of two WBA super featherweight champions, Javier El Abijon Fortuna of Braintree, Massachusetts, by way of the Dominican Republic, and Jesus El Jinete Cuellar of Buenos Aires, Argentina. This bout will be a 10-round encounter for the vacant WBC Continental America's lightweight title. We gave you the records of that one the last time we were on the air. So that's one of the feature bouts. The other co-feature bout will be a 10-round encounter between interim WBA super welterweight champion Brian Carlos El Boxy Castano of Isidro Casanovo, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Wale Lucky Boy Omotoso of Los Angeles, California, by way of Lagos, Nigeria. Castano is 15-0-1, 11 KOs, came off a 12-round split decision draw against former world champion Arislandi Lara. That was on March 2nd at the Barclays Center. Omotoso was 28-4, 22 KOs. He last fought Curtis Stevens, knocked him out in the third round on August 3rd, same location, Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So those are the main feature bouts on this card. There are a number of 10-round bouts. I believe like 6 10-round bouts on this card. And we'll give you the time for in just a moment. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, a featherweight encounter between undefeated Ramfis Javier Encarnacion of San Cristobal, Dominican Republic. He'll battle Emmanuel Veneno Dominguez of Aguas Calientes, Mexico. Encarnacion is 16-0, 12 KOs, coming off a second-round TKO over Jose Bustos. That was on April 27th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dominguez, 26-8-2, 18 KOs. He's riding a 2-bout winning streak, including a third-round knockout of Jose Roberto Gonzalez. That was on June 8th in Guadalajara, Mexico. So that's one of the 10-round bouts. Houston, Texas welterweight Cowboy Ryan Carl. He'll be in a 10-round bout against Bergman the Snake Aguilar of San Jose, Costa Rica, by way of Nicaragua. Carl, 17-2, 11 KOs, scored a first-round knockout over David Morales on June 29th in Houston. Carl has a victory over the Beltway Boxer. He won an 8-round unanimous decision over Kareem Martin in Flint, Michigan in November of 2017. Aguilar is 15-5-1, 5 KOs, scored a fourth-round TKO over Eliezer Lanzas on July 17th in San Jose, Costa Rica. This is Aguilar's second trip to MGM National Harbor Casino. He lost a 6-round unanimous decision to Patrick Harris back on March 24th. That was on the Mont Peterson Sergey Lipinets card. Now we come to a very interesting 8-round contest. I'll tell you why it's interesting in just a moment. Light heavyweight Osvaldo David Morrell of Minneapolis, Minnesota, by way of Santa Clara, Cuba. He'll take on Quentin Rankin of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's why this is interesting. Morrell is competing at the 8-round plateau after only, get this folks, 1 pro bout. Made even more interesting because his pro debut was scheduled for 6 rounds. However, he only needed 1 because he knocked out Yendris Rodriguez Valdez on August 31st in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we'll see. This will be very interesting to see this one. No question about that. Rankin, meanwhile, is 15-6-2 with 12 KOs. Looks to bounce back from an 8-round unanimous decision loss to former world champion Chad Dawson. That was on June 29th in Mashantucket, Connecticut. So that should be a good bout there. We'll see what happens there. Osvaldo Morrell, only having 1 pro bout, is competing at 8 rounds. Interesting. And he didn't have a long, he's a Cuban boxer, but he didn't have a long amateur record. I had a chance to look that up. But he wasn't a long amateur record. So this is very interesting. No question about that. Undefeated Springfield, Massachusetts welterweight Anthony ATV Velasquez. He will keep his perfect record intact by facing Michael Crane of Smyrna, Delaware. Velasquez 7-0, all 7 wins by knockout. Scored a 4th-round TKO over Vincent Floyd on August 17th in Springfield, Massachusetts. Crane is 3-3, 1 KO, but he has not fought since winning a 4-round unanimous decision over our very own Dontre King in September 2018 in Hockinson, Delaware. Another bout, Paul the Punisher Crow of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania will take on Fahan the Puncher Fatula of Salt Lake City, Utah by way of Azerbaijan. That's bout scheduled for 6 rounds. Kroll is 5-0, 4 KOs. He went the distance for the first time in his young career, winning a 6-round unanimous decision over Shenard Bunch on August 10th in Philadelphia. Fatula is 1-3. He suffered back-to-back losses in his last 2 bouts to Beltway Boxers. His last contest, Fatula lost a 4-round majority decision to Cornell Hines. That was on January 18th at the theater in New York City at Madison Square Garden. And prior to that bout, Fatula lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Keyshawn Williams in September 2018 in Philadelphia. So that is the card as we know it so far. Again, we don't know whether or not Keyshawn Williams has an opponent or whether or not he'll be on the card. Now, here are the times for this card. The doors to MGM National Harbor Casino will open at 6 p.m. The first bout is scheduled to begin at 6:10 p.m. All right, so first bout is scheduled to go at 6:10 p.m. I don't know what the schedule as far as what bout will be where, and that's kind of important because some of the preliminary contests will air on FS2, Fox Sports 2, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So there'll be some preliminary contests. I'm assuming some Beltway boxers will be on the show, but I'm guessing the Russell brothers will be a part of that, but I'm not 100% sure. And that will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The main FS1 telecast will get underway at 10:30 p.m. So once again, doors open at 6 o'clock. The first bout scheduled to begin at 6:10. There'll be preliminary contests on FS2 at 9 p.m., followed by the FS1 telecast at 10:30 p.m. So that's the times for tomorrow night, Saturday, November 2nd, at the MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. The TGB Promotions card, a number of Beltway boxers will be involved. So we'll look forward to seeing that. And I hope in all, if I don't lose my wallet this time, Juan Marsha and I will be blogging and podcasting from the MGM National Harbor Casino. We'll give you a full post-fight wrap-up show immediately following the card. Now, the November Beltway schedule looks loaded. So it's going to be an interesting situation going on now. November 2nd is just the beginning of what should be a pretty exciting month for Beltway boxers. A good list of cards that'll be on this card. Now, actually, as we record this, it actually gets underway tonight. Because on Friday, November 1st, tonight, at the Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall in Las Vegas, Nevada, Baltimore, Maryland rookie super featherweight Malik King Warren makes his Mayweather Promotions debut against the debuting Chauncey Perry of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Now, Warren made a successful pro debut in his hometown of Baltimore at the Royal Farms Arena on July 27th, scored a second-round TKO over Devontae McCowan. So that's the big event coming up, first big event coming up this month, Friday, November 1st at Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, that card is going to be on, part of the card is going to be a showbox card tonight, but Warren will be on the undercard, so he will not be on television. So, of course, we had the card coming up Saturday, November 2nd. Now let's move to Saturday, November 9th. We have a number of events. We have 5 bouts featuring Beltway boxers on Saturday, November 9th in a number of different places around the country. Starting off with the big one, however, though. Saturday, November 9th at Chachansky Park in Fresno, California. Upper Marlboro, Maryland super featherweight Lamont Roach Jr. will challenge WBO super featherweight champion Jamel Simplify Herring of Cincinnati, Ohio, for the WBO super featherweight title in a 12-round encounter that'll be shown on ESPN+. We've talked about this bout before. Big one for the undefeated Lamont Roach Jr. And if he can win it, he'll be DC's newest champion. We'll talk more about the champions in DC proper a little bit later on. But the big one for Lamont Roach Jr., the biggest for Lamont Roach Jr. coming up. He's had a great career. He's been our Rookie of the Year. He's been our Prospect of the Year. And this one could put him well over the hump. No question about that. So that's Saturday, November 9th. Lamont Roach Jr. challenging Jamel Simplify Herring in a 12-round bout at Chachansky Park in Fresno, California. The bout will be shown live on ESPN+. Saturday, November 9th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, DC super middleweight Gregory Glizzy Clark. He'll be in a 6-round contest against undefeated Alexis Espino of Las Vegas, Nevada. Clark is 4-4-1, 1 KO. He looks to bounce back from a first-round TKO loss to Jonathan Esquivel on July 13th in Carson, California. Esquivel has fought here in the Beltway a number of years ago. Espino is 4-0, 3 KOs, scored a third-round TKO over Oscar Soto. That was on August 24th in Hermosillo, Mexico. So that's Saturday, November 9th. Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Gregory Glizzy Clark takes on Alexis Espino in Las Vegas, 6-round super middleweight contest. Saturday, November 9th at the Exposition Building in Portland, Maine, Baltimore super featherweight Jamal Dyer. He battles the silent assassin William Foster of New Haven, Connecticut. This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds. Dyer is 9-2, 5 KOs, but he lost his last bout by 8-round unanimous decision to Andres Cortez on April 5th in Las Vegas. Now, I believe that bout was on Showbox. I believe it was. Dyer will face an undefeated boxer for the 3rd straight time. Foster's 10-0, 7 KOs, came off a 4th-round TKO over Ramon Eliezer Esperanza. That was on May 10th in Springfield, Massachusetts. So that's an 8-round bout. Jamal Dyer taking on William Foster in that bout. Saturday, November 9th in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Dundalk, Maryland super featherweight Dorian Bostic. He'll be in a 4-round bout against an opponent to be determined. Bostic is originally from Cheraw, South Carolina, so he's going back home. And he's never fought in the Beltway. He's only fought 2 times, but this will be his second bout, I should say. But he's never fought in the Beltway. He made his pro debut on May 25th and registered a first-round knockout over Jarrell Thomas in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we'll see what happens. Bostic's interesting situation. I think he's trying to be a doctor along the way. I'm not sure. There's a story about him. I got to look up that story again about Dorian Bostic. But he'll be back in action on Saturday, November 9th in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Saturday, November 9th at the Orange County High School in Orange, Virginia. That's where undefeated Salisbury, Maryland welterweight Nasty Nigel Fennell. He'll be in a 4-round bout against Corey Champion of Louisa, Virginia. Fennell is 5-0, 4 KOs, coming off a 6-round unanimous decision over Darrell Harris on September 14th at the Michael & Son Sportsplex in Sterling, Virginia. Champion is 1-0, winning his pro debut with a 3rd-round TKO over Dustin Michael Lanning on July 20th at that Orange County High School. So on Nigel Fennell against Corey Champion. I said 5 Beltway boxers. I meant 4. 4 Beltway boxers competing on Saturday, November 9th in Los Angeles, Portland, Maine, Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Orange, Virginia. So big day is November 9th, I should say. No, it is 5 because Lamont Rose Jr. So we have 5 Beltway boxers competing on Saturday, November 9th, coming up in Fresno, California. On Thursday, November 14th at the Washington Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C., I mentioned this because this will be the final Fight Night Fight for Children that will take place on this night. This event will end after this year. It's an event that overall I have enjoyed. I think it's 30 years they've had this event now, and I've enjoyed it over the years. The last few years, however, since Joe Robert, the original chairman, passed away, the event has vastly changed, and there's been very little, if any, Beltway boxing presence on this card. So I have not gone over the last few years, and again, I've been very upset because we've had a number of Beltway boxing legends that Fight Night they honor the legends of boxing and have done so for many, many years. Actually, the entire time they've had the event. But they've never mentioned and never honored the local legends, including Mark Two Shop Johnson, who is a Hall of Famer. They've never had him on there. So I've always had problems with that. And that's one of the reasons why I have not gone. 2 of the reasons, really. That, in fact, they haven't had a lot of Beltway boxers. And they've changed the format because they add some amateur boxing, they add some MMA. So it isn't the same at all. And they've had problems with reporters because they haven't allowed the reporters actually see the bouts, which is weird. So it really has changed over the years and not changed for the better. So that's why I have not been there. So far, as we said, no Beltway boxers scheduled for the card. Main event should be interesting, though. 10-round contest for the USBA super lightweight title. The champion is Sonny Fredrickson out of Toledo, Ohio. He's 21-1, 14 KOs. He'll defend the title against Samuel Tsunami Tia of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, by way of Monrovia, Liberia. He's 15-3-1, 7 KOs. So that's what we have so far about Fight Night. Again, we don't know who the legends on. I seriously doubt they're going to. I've mentioned it to him. I have written them about Mark. And if anybody should be there, Mark Johnson should be there, because he's right up there with the Jerry Cooneys and the Buster Douglases and some of the other legends they've had over the last few years. Ray Mancini, of course, has been there a number of years. When it was in his heyday, I mean, the greats of the great would be there. For Muhammad Ali was there. Ernie Shavers, late Aaron Pryor would come. Jake LaMotta would come on a regular basis. Today they've had everybody from Carmen Basilio, Floyd Patterson, Ingemar Johansson, Archie Moore was there. I mean, they've had some true legends of boxing at that event over the years, but just not the same. They're going to finish the event after this year. That's on Thursday, November 14th. Then on Saturday, November 16th, the only other Beltway boxing card in the area. This will be a card that will take place at LaFontaine in Glen Burnie, Maryland. This is a different LaFontaine from the one that's located in Atlanta, Maryland, that I think some people, at least on the D.C. side of the Beltway, will be more familiar with and used to have boxing many years ago. But this will be the one in Glen Burnie, Maryland. This is a Bass Brothers card. Now, all we know about this card so far is that the main event is scheduled to feature Lorenzo Truck Simpson, super middleweight, out of Baltimore. He's 5-0, 4 KOs. So that's the only thing we know about that card so far. That's Saturday, November 16th at LaFontaine in Glen Burnie, Maryland. We'll give you an address about that a little bit later on. Then our final event will be Wednesday, November 27th at the Castleton Banquet and Conference Center in Windham, New Hampshire. Undefeated Baltimore heavyweight Cassius Chaney, he'll make a relatively quick return to the ring in an 8-round bout against Nick Jones of Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Chaney is 17-0, 11 KOs. He last fought on October 11th, scored a first-round knockout over Santano Salgado in Hartford, Connecticut. It was a brutal knockout, no question about that. Now, the win is Chaney's third straight first-round knockout, his sixth consecutive knockout overall. So he's doing very, very well as of late. And again, just getting back into the ring after a little less than a month. Jones is 7-2, 5 KOs, suffered 2 straight knockout losses, including a 4th-round knockout loss to Roddy Hernandez on December 8th in La Puente, California. So that's the schedule we have so far for November. All bouts and cards scheduled change without notice, and we may have some additions to that down the road. So that's the full November schedule. So make sure you go out and support your Beltway Boxers. Finally today, we wanted to celebrate DC's newest champion. Now, I put out a Facebook page, Facebook item a couple days ago that kind of chronicled our recent DC success rate. And we've had a lot over the years. Really, from 2009 to 2019, over the last 10 years, we've had some pretty good success. Starting with the Washington Castles, who won 6 World Team Tennis titles between 2009, and 2015. You add that to the Washington Valor, who won the Arena Football League championship, and they, unfortunately, the AFL looks like it's going to cease operations. So I don't know, it's sad about that. But the Valor were in last place the year they won it and came back and won the championship. Of course, the Washington Capitals winning the Stanley Cup in 2018. And then this year, the Mystics winning the WNBA title. And now, earlier this week, the Washington Nationals winning the World Series. Now, that one's special. I mean, that, for me, and even though I kind of superstitiously did not watch the Nationals, because every time I watch them, they lose. You know, and it's kind of the same with the Mystics and the Capitals. I didn't watch the games, but I kind of celebrated with them in spirit. But being a fan of the Nationals since their inception in 2005, this one's special. It really is, for a lot of reasons. And not only because I've been a National fan since 2005, I've been a Washingtonian all my life. And I remember, I was in the last generation to remember the Washington Senators, the expansion version of the Washington Senators, playing games here at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. And And I remember going to them with my father. We'd see Frank Howard and Bill Gogolewski and Dick Bosman, the great pitchers they had. And, as they said back in those days, and lasted for a long period of time, because we did not, the last time the Washington Senators, any Washington Senators, whether the original version that later became the Minnesota Twins or the second version which later became the Texas Rangers, we were always first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League. And so it was amazing because Washington didn't have a team from 1971 to 2005, and just to have us have a team was something special here. And so just seeing them struggle, get to the playoffs, get to the wild card game and lose, get to the division championship and lose, and never getting over that hump was tough. And this year it looked even tougher because they started off so poorly. Just winning 19 games. Everybody was calling for manager Davey Martinez's head. But that team rallied together, and they fought so hard. And they played so well down the stretch. Not even down the stretch, from like June on. They were incredible. And every obstacle that was placed in front of them, they will hurdle that obstacle. And hurdling obstacles means a lot for me on my regular job now, because I'm kind of going through that with my training as a tour guide for Arlington National Cemetery. So it means a lot to me, and seeing the Nationals do that, not only in the World Series, but in the National League Championship Series, and even in the Division Series, and even in the wild card, just to get to the rest of the playoffs, they overcame hurdles. And like the Capitals, like the Mystics, the Nationals won this as a team. They didn't win this with any superstar. In fact, they got rid of the superstar. They traded Bryce Harper to Philadelphia. And to see this team come together and win this, it's amazing. I've been very fortunate. Been through a lot of world championships and league championships in my time. And starting with the Washington Bullets in 1978, of course, the 3 championships by the Washington football team, and all the rest have come by since then. And, of course, the boxing championships over the years. For a while, boxing was the only thing that was really doing well in the Beltway area. And if you add what Gary Russell Jr. has done, what Jared Hurd has done, and what Torrey Nelson has done, it really raises the bar for what we've done. And we're calling ourselves Washington, D.C., standing for District of Champions. And it has become true. And Lamont Rose Jr. may add to that in a couple of weeks. Who knows? Of course, we have the D.C. Defenders who are in the XFL. My buddy Pep Hamilton is the head coach there. So, former Howard University quarterback. So it's a lot to look forward to in the Beltway. And of course, when the Nationals won the World Series, I thought about 2 people. Of course, Ryan Zimmerman, who is the National. He's the first National. He was the first draft pick by the Washington Nationals in their inaugural season. And I thought about him and how much he stayed with it, could have gone elsewhere, stayed with the team, went through the highs, went through the lows, and now he's a World Series champion. And then I thought about my good buddy Shelly Bowers Jr. For those of you who have not heard this, I did a podcast, not a full podcast, but part of my podcast devoted to him. Shelly Bowers Jr., for those who are listening for the first time, was a very good friend of mine who I worked with over the years. He was the public address announcer at Howard University. I suggested he take that job. He was there for pretty much 25 years. He was there for 25 years. And he passed away last year. And he was a huge, there were 3 passions in Shelly Bowers' life. Grambling State University in Grambling, Louisiana. Actually 4. Woodrow Wilson High School, that's where he went to school in Washington, D.C. Grambling State University, when he went to college. D.C. United, the soccer team, and the Washington Nationals. He was huge on the Nationals. And unfortunately, he passed away early last year, and he was unable to relish in the Nationals winning the World Championship. I know he would be so excited to see the Nationals win this thing, and I know he's up there in heaven, cheering on the Nationals, and he's just rejoicing in heaven because of the Nationals' victory. So that's what I thought about going into this. But again, as A. Poem once said, when the Bulls won the championship, I'm so happy for the city because everybody's together and they're unified. This team is a melting pot of many cultures: white, black, Latino, Asian. Their manager's Latino. I mean, it's just a great symbol for unity in this city. No question about that. So congratulations to the Washington Nationals, World Series champions, and again, continuing to make us, Washington, D.C., the District of Champions. Well, that'll do it for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. Don't forget, we'll be coming to you live with podcasts from MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland on Saturday, November 2nd. And look forward to a great Beltway Boxing month ahead. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. And by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and great training methods at Deborah, Debra Spears.com. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. And all remember, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.